Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Peace be unto you. Welcome to Islamic Learning with Master As-Sabur. I am your host for today, Adrian Jasper. And today we have a very special show. We're going to display the artwork of a Muslim brother named Hassan Alawasi. And Hassan Alawasi is the brother who was shot and killed on March 16th, 2014 at Home Depot on Foreign Road in a senseless act of hate. That's what it was. It was just a senseless act of hate that took his life. But today we're going to, if you don't know, Hassan was a phenomenal artist. He painted phenomenal pictures, beautiful artwork. So today we're going to display his artwork here on Access Sacramento through a fellow art classmate of his, and also a friend who owns a personal collection of Hassan's work. And her name is Fidette Concepcion. So I'm going to introduce Fidette. I'm glad she's here. Fidette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Adrian. I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you.
It's a great opportunity to share Hassan's wonderful work of art.
Yes, and so share with us how you met Hassan.
I met Hassan in a basic art class at Casunas River College in spring 2009. To this day, I still remember the first day I met him. It was on a Saturday after school, and it was Valentine's Day. That weekend was the last weekend of our teacher's art show in Davis. And I was so anxious to go. And I invited a few of my fellow students, my fellow classmates in class, but they're not able to go. So as I was walking down the steps out of the building, there was a fellow classmate walking next to me. And so I looked at him and I said, I didn't even know his name, and I said, would you like to go with me to the art show, to see our show of our art teacher? And I think I startled him, and he dropped some of his things on the floor. And so I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. And he asked me what was the question, and I said, well, would you go with me at the art show of our teacher in Davis? And so he asked me a few questions of where it was and what it was all about and how to get there. And I said, okay, just follow me in the car. So we went and drove to Davis. And at the art show, we were discussing the artwork of our teacher, all of the paintings that were on display. And he was mumbling and saying, I used to teach art in high school. I said, oh, okay. And I have a degree in art, and I'm an artist. And so I could have never picked a better person to take with me at the art show. And I was totally impressed. So we discussed more of the artwork, about the color, about the design, and just implementing what we learned in class. And when we were done in class, he looked at me and said, eat. And I knew what he meant, but I thought it was just an odd way of inviting me. So I said, did you mean have lunch or have a snack or something? And he said, yes, let's go find a restaurant. So, and there were 2 doors down, there was a small cafe. We were seated and we looked at the menu, and I ordered a salad and he ordered the same. And I said, oh, I didn't know anything about him, I didn't know about his culture. And so I introduced myself, and he introduced himself, his name, and I asked him, "Where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Iraq." And he said the word Iraq with so much emphasis that I literally fell off my chair.
Wow.
Almost fell off my chair. And so, because I've heard about Iraq, and it was not pleasant. About their leader, about the turmoil that was going on during that time.
Right.
So that's how I met him.
Okay. So when did he come to the United States?
First, he came to Michigan
Okay.
in January of 2007. And he said, and it was during winter time, he said that the snow was up to my neck. He said. So he phoned his friends, and after a week, he flew over here in Sacramento.
Okay. So now I know that he provided security at Salam Islamic Center, where he was also a member as well, and very loved by that community. And I believe that they honored him as well through his artwork. They had an event that honored his artwork.
We had a vigil, we had a vigil for him in May.
And so, what type of work did he do in the arts community?
He did a lot, in his country. He did when he was a refugee in Jordan. He was when he was in Jordan, he taught refugee children art.
Oh wow!
Yes, that was when he was there. And then when he came over here just last year, he became a member of the Sacramento Fine Arts Center and the Crocker Art Museum. But he was more an active member of the Sacramento Fine Arts Center. He did a lot of volunteer work, serving snacks for children during their summer art class. He would move chairs, set tables, hang pictures, take down pictures, and whatever they need for him to do at the center, he would do it.
Just to feel that connection in our community and be.
That's right.
Yeah.
He enjoyed being with the other artists, and he just liked that kinship, to be in solidarity with his fellow artists.
Yeah, I can relate. As an artist, it keeps you balanced when you're around other artists, and it keeps you sharp. So I understand how important that is. So I want to read a letter. It's actually a bio profile of Hassan Alawasi, which you gave me, that he wrote himself. So I'm going to read this to our audience so they can hear in his words about where he came from. Name Hassan Alawasi. I was born and raised in Baghdad, Iraq. I left my country in 1999 for Amman, Jordan, because of turmoil and chaos in Iraq. I am one of the lucky ones to move to USA 2 years ago. I started drawing since first grade. I drew human figures, flowers, birds, or anything I see that is beautiful. I use pencil and pastels in my drawings. I do not know whether or not my artwork is good, but I get compliments from my teachers and people in the neighborhood who understand art. My teacher rates my work with a perfect score of 10. In addition, I received at least 7 first-place trophies, and my paintings were put on display at school exhibits. In 1980, Iraq-Iran war broke out. Education was temporarily put on hold. As a young child, I continued to draw, but I drew about soldiers, tanks, and death. In 1987, the war ended. I moved on to high school, and I studied very hard to obtain good grades. The subjects in high school were science, math, business, Arabic, and a little English. Because of hard work and good grades, I was accepted at the University of Baghdad. I majored in drawing and painting. While I was in college in 1991, Iraq invaded Kuwait. There was chaos again in Iraq. I survived the Iraq-Kuwait war, and after college, I taught art in high school for about 1 year and 2 months. I gave up my teaching job, and I drew full-time in my studio. I sold my art paintings for better pay than teaching art in high school. In 1999, I was compelled to leave Iraq and move to Amman, Jordan, because for the third time there was chaos in Iraq. While in Amman, I worked part-time as an office assistant in a gallery. I continued to paint. My works of art were in a group exhibition every 3 or 4 times a month in the gallery where I work. My uncle Hassan Alawasi is a famous artist in France. I think I inherited his genes. I moved to the USA in 2007. I have a desire to take a master's degree in art to pursue my art career. For the meantime, I am learning English. And that is from Hassan Alawasi's personal bio profile.
Yeah, that was the short biography or brief biography in our class, in the art class.
And it was nice to hear in his words, such a summary of his story, his journey. And it's ironic that he fled Iraq, all that violence, to come here for a better life, and he ended up ironically having his life taken in a senseless act. So, and you know, it's just because someone didn't believe the way he believed, or that they saw him as different from them. And when it's God that creates differences in us. He makes us different. He makes us different. So, and Satan exploits those differences. So, and there's a verse in the Quran that I want to refer to. It's chapter 49, verse 13, that says, O mankind, we have created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes that you may know each other, not that you may despise each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of God is he who is the most righteous of you. And God has full knowledge and is well acquainted with all things. So I think that says it all. You know, God made us, you know, different people. He made us different so that we can get to know each other. You know, it's how boring would it be if everybody were alike, you know? So what did he want to share? What did he want to share with humanity the most through his art, do you think, as his friend?
Well, I think he wanted to show the liveliness of life through his art. As we talk about his art, you can see all the vivid colors that he put in his paintings. So that's all I can say is his the life that he put in it is what he wanted to share.
So what plans did he have, artistic-wise, that he didn't get to fulfill before his death?
2 weeks before he died, he was scheduled to fly to France, to Paris, France, to do an art show. And prior to that, I asked him why he wanted to go to Paris, and he said, I wanted to give it a try, and I wanted to see the world. I also wanted to continue painting, and I want to improve myself as a painter, and then I wanted to share my art to the world.
Well, that is why we're here today. We're here to share. You know, he's not here, and may God have mercy on his spirit, and continue to let his artwork be his voice, and to show the world the beauty, the gift that God put in him, you know, that God gave him. And when God gives you a gift, he gave this. I saw his painting. I saw, you know, when I see his paintings and the range that he has, he can paint anything. And, you know, people, places, things, the way he captures, it's the tone that he captures things. And it's like you can feel his spirit, and you can feel the beauty that he saw. And so, and God gave him that gift without measure, without putting a cap on it. Not like if when we give each other gifts, there's a cap. Like if I have $50, I'm gonna say, okay, I have $50 bucks. I'm gonna give Fidette a dress that's no more than $50. But when God gives a gift, there's no measure to it. There's no measure to it. And that reminds me of another verse in the Quran that I'm gonna read. That it's from chapter 16, verse 71, and it reads, God has bestowed his gifts of substance more freely on some of you than others. Those more favored are not going to throw back their gifts to those whom their right hand possess, as to be equal in that respect. Will they then deny the favors of God? And so Hassan, he wasn't one. He knew he had this gift, and he wasn't gonna to tuck it, hide it. He wanted the world to know, hey, I have this gift, because he knew that God put that in him for him to honor, get that gift. So, and he did. So we are here to share his gift. So with that, let's just start looking at his paintings and let everybody see what this man was blessed with, and our Muslim brothers. So with that, can you tell us?
Sure. This is the poster or the postcard for his art show that was in September 14 of last year. This is his first art show in Sacramento.
And where was this at?
And it was at the Union Hall Gallery on K Street. And he chose these paintings. He chose this particular artwork, and it's entitled Dance All Night.
That's beautiful. I love that dress. Love it. Okay, and let's look at the next one. Look at that. President Barack Obama. See, when I look at this, he came from Iraq to America, and he probably saw this as a symbol of freedom and opportunity. So with
Hassan had an arduous desire to paint Barack Obama, President Barack Obama, and he did.
He did a good job. That looks like Barack Obama. He did a great job. That is excellent. That is excellent.
And as an artist, you mentioned about gifts. Hassan always wanted to improve on his technique. So he does a lot of art studies. He used it when he was teaching, and he replicates some of the artwork and because he wanted to try their techniques, and he wants to experiment on them. That's why he's always improving.
So what type of materials did he work with?
He used a lot of media. He can use oil, acrylic, pastel, pencil, and watercolor. But I think his favorite is the pencil and the watercolor.
Okay. Well, President Obama, if you're watching our show, this is a tribute to you from one of our Muslim brothers here in Sacramento, California, and hope you like it.
And this was in acrylic.
Wow.
And it's now in Paris, France, because most of his paintings were taken by his siblings when they flew to Paris.
So after he passed, they flew his body back to Iraq and then
buried him in Iraq, and the two siblings went to Paris to join their other siblings.
Okay. Okay, what do we have next? And this is called
the Ravages of War, and Hassan gave me a small picture of this painting. He said that he donated this painting, I think at the United Nations in Jordan,
Oh,
or
wow.
at the U.S. Consulate in Jordan. And I think it's in acrylic. And so what I did was blow it up and then frame it. Because I like this picture. It's,
Yeah, it's very telling, just coming, him living in that region, in that war-torn region, and
Yeah.
says it all.
I see it. There's no husband, there's no father. It's the mother and the baby, and all of their belongings is in one trunk. If you can see that. So
Wow,
yeah, and
that's pretty prolific.
okay.
And this is called.
This is called. Did you say freedom? I think this is freedom. I'm not sure where he painted this. He maybe brought it.
Go ahead.
I think this was painted in Amman, and he brought it here.
Okay.
And he brought it here. So it was painted a while back.
I just love the colors he uses. He uses colors so beautifully. Okay, let's see what's.
And this is a portrait of my mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law.
And this is called Luling is her name, and he used pencil to draw her picture. And when I told my mother-in-law, I told her that an artist was going to paint you in person. So when would you like for him to come? And he said, oh, no. Tell him thank you so much, and I'll give you my favorite picture and let him draw that picture instead.
Well, this picture, it reminds me, most people can look through their photo albums and see an old picture of a grandmother or someone, an aunt, someone in a black and white photo, and that has that classy, strong but regal look. And so it just reminds me of one of those photos, like when I think of my grandmother, my mother's mother, whom I never met. When I look at a black and white photo of her that my family has, it just has that regal look of that, that strong woman in the family, strong and feminine, and that everybody can kind of look through their photo albums and say, hey, that's reminds me of my grandmother or someone. So he really did a good job in capturing that, so I can see her essence. So thank you, mother-in-law. Okay, and I think we have time for one more.
And this is Rosie. She was one of the clients at the Empire Development Program, Day Program. She was actually in a wheelchair.
Oh wow!
And Hassan would assist her during lunchtime for feeding. And not only that, he would scoop the food for her, but he would also sing for Rosie.
Oh wow, that's beautiful.
Well, this is what I was told by a former coworker.
Wow.
And so Rosie was in a wheelchair, and the caretaker, her former caretaker, her former caretaker gave her picture to Hassan to paint.
Beautiful. So, I'm so happy that you came here today, Fidette, and you brought all your collections of photos for him. Just to share with not only Sacramento, because this is going to be broadcasted online, so his family in Iraq, they can go online and they can watch it. People all over the world can watch it. And, this man, who had his life cut short. You know, when people take someone's life, they never know what they're cutting down, what they're plucking from the world. And, you know, yes, he was Muslim, and he was, but look what else he was. You know, all this beauty and, you know, that God put in him, you know. But God knows best, and God is still in control. So we want to thank Fidette for bringing all of this beautiful work, and just continue to share Hassan Alawasi's work the way you've been doing it, and let it inspire somebody to see the beauty that God put in him and say, hey, God is great. So thank you for tuning into our show. Masjid As-Sabur is located at 4926 15th Avenue on the corner of off Stockton Boulevard. We have religious services every Friday, 1:30 p.m. So come out, join us, give us greetings. Everyone is welcome. So again, thank you for tuning in to Islamic Learning with Masjid As-Sabur. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be unto you.
And I'd like to thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Thank you for coming. Good night.
Assalamu alaikum.
I want to remind everyone, Masjid As-Sabur, 4926 15th Avenue. Our new masjid is gorgeous. We just finished planting over 100 plants in front of the masjid. We just got through cleaning up the kitchen and getting ready to clean up all of the wudu stations, and we want you to come and join us. Every Friday, 1:30 p.m., Masjid As-Sabur, Sacramento. We are also on the web, www.masjidassabur.org. And we're on Facebook, so please like us. Again, we thank you for your patience and your time. We want to remind you that God truly has a message for you. And we want to remind you that we are here to give you any help that you may need. As God has taught us, He is a merciful God. As long as you come to Him and ask forgiveness, He will forgive you. So no matter where you are in life, there is a hope for change.